Hey, Bill, where's the car that's supposed to be following us?
You should be right behind us, Bobby.
Is that it on the right? Bobby, get down! Get down! Oh, my God! Bobby, you in! You in! No! You in! Mother, stay down! Get off! Now! I'll take care of it!
All right, there's a scene, you know, and we're looking at a car chase, which is the cliche of movies, and yet this car chase really works. And you were saying while we were watching it, we shot that in bright sunlight. Yeah. What are you talking about?
That's true.
We ruined the movie experience.
Yeah, go ahead.
We had nothing but bright sunlight. The scene was written for a pouring rainstorm, and in fact, it worked out perfectly, because what you try to do is bring yourself to... I mean, you're right, there's been a zillion car chases that have been done. And I tried to make it a little bit different, and one of the things I tried to do was make it very much from inside the car, very much Joaquin's point of view, and also introduce rain, a weather element. And no stuntman on the planet will drive into oncoming traffic at 70 miles an hour or jackknife a truck in the pouring rainstorms.
And what were you doing through all that?
Quite a lot.
It's actually that's probably one of the more difficult kind of things to do as an actor. Because when you're in a room with somebody doing a scene, intimate scene, conversation, you can actually feel that you're reacting off of something tangible. This, we're on the back of a trailer in a car that's bolted down. Not only is it sunny, but there's like 15 people on the sidewalk going, Ava, 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 taking pictures. And you're meant to feel as if you're in this very intense car chase in which these gangsters are trying to kill your father. So, you know, you arrive, you sit in the car, and they roll, and you go, oh, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? But what we ended up breaking it down into sections of A, B, C, and D, so that the first thing, because we only had a certain amount of time. We had like 2 blocks in which we could drive, and then we'd have to come back. But of course, the chase takes place
over 17 city blocks.
Right. So you would only get so much, and then you'd have to go back and do the other portion. And you know, it can be it can be incredibly difficult.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the reaction to this movie, which I want to say to this camera, I really like a lot. In Cannes, which this happens a lot, you got some boos. Oh, look at that. Right. It got some boos.
Yeah.
What is this? How do you react? How do you both react when, like, let me take, I think, the stupidest reaction, which is that it's a fascist movie. It's a movie that says, whoa, we might as well be George Bushites. How do you both, as an actor and as a filmmaker, react to that kind of criticism?
I'll be brief.
Do you want to go first?
Listen, for me, I think that's the beauty of movies, again, that it's a subjective experience. I mean, we talked about the end of this film and how different people might interpret it, and I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I wouldn't want to impose my ideas of what the film is about onto an audience. I mean, I really hate that. I mean, like, we're both Beatles obsessives, but I don't read about the Beatles a lot because I don't really want to know what kind of I don't want them to affect my interpretation of,
oh, you mean personally, who the Beatles really were personally?
Well, no, or how somebody describes how a song was made or an album was made. I want to interpret. I mean, for years, Martha, My Dear was a real love song to me, and I found out it was about his dog. Okay. And it was heartbreaking.
Well, you ask about Cannes, Peter. I mean, the only thing I can say is that Cannes is very different from anywhere else in the world, and that festival is really a very strange environment. You know, it's sort of like, you know, all these movie critics sit in the theater together, which is almost always poorly air-conditioned, incredibly hot, and they are watching a certain type of movie, which oftentimes tend to be almost non-narrative and intentionally so. And then our film, which I think is actually quite a conventional narrative on surface terms, it's a story that goes A, B, C, D, you have to kind of look for the subversive quality beneath the surface of it. And frankly, I feel as though sometimes people watch one kind of movie and then another kind of movie comes along. It's a little bit of, dare I say, shock to the system. I will say also Cannes was not an unhappy experience for us because we got one of the longest standing ovations in the recent history of the festival. So it's a very mixed bag, and I like that.